Hi Moglets, pretty exciting video here. We are currently in 6.0 in the creator experience server. There would be a lot of stuff to check out, but for now I just want to focus on Lauma, the next new character coming, and Nod-Krai, which we already have up here. We've warped to a town here. Oh my god, are those the statues of the Seven? Jesus Christ. Well, I guess they're called statues of the new moon. Let's head out to some nature, see what's going on over here. Oh, look at this little guy. He's gonna dig up some meat for me, I think. I saw this in the special program. Thanks, buddy. Oh, and another one. Do these guys drop mats? That's gonna suck, having to kill them for materials. They're so cute. But yeah, here's a quick look at least like one part of Nod-Krai here. There's like this industrial stuff over here as well. I just wanna poke around the map for a little bit and then we're gonna talk about Lauma. I think we have one of the oculi up there. They look so nice. Look at that. That's definitely the most beautiful oculi in my opinion. Lunoculus. They have a cool name too. Lauma does have a pretty cool exploration ability. You can hold her charge attack and transform into a half deer, half woman? Like a centaur, but I guess for deers. I don't know if there's a different name. We can press T here. Oh, we got obliterated. I mean, sure, let's just start with the simple stuff, like her design. She's actually way taller than I remember. I also don't remember her design being so good. I mean, I would take or leave the
massive the honka bankaloos.
But yeah, I mean, I think the antlers are nice. We got like some I can't really zoom into them, unfortunately. Wait, that's why we have photo. No, oh my god. Okay, I don't use photo mode very often. Leave me alone. That's why we have photo mode. Okay, I wanted to look at the antlers. Yeah, this little moon charm thing I think is really nice. But all right, enough of that. Here's one of the areas. It's very blue. Reminds me a lot of Lauma. It feels like she fits here. Well, we do have the Frost Moon Enclave pretty close by, so that makes sense. Oh, I think inside this building is what we also saw in the trailer. Hey, we should raise her level. I assume it's gonna be pretty hard to prepare for her in advance, because she'll probably need all new stuff you can only get in Nod-Krai. Yep, definitely new stuff. So I don't think there's going to be too much point focusing on that a lot. New boss material here. Yeah, and you know how it goes, just more of the same until level 90 here or that final star. It might be because of the test server, but we can't increase her level anymore, so we're sticking with the old cap of 90. She does currently have her signature Nightweaver's Looking Glass. Sure, we're going to raise that as well. Elemental Mastery main stat, I would assume a pretty low base attack because she is essentially a Bloom character, but of course has a bunch of new mechanics because of Lunar Bloom and all of that. So I think this is the fourth catalyst with the same exact stat spread. We got Sunny Morning Sleepin', Star Colors Watch, and 1,000 Floating Dreams. So I'd wager most of those 5 stars would be good for her as well if you don't want to pick up her signature. But yeah, I'll save most of the theory for the raising video. She is also rocking Silken Moon Serenade, one of the 2 new artifact sets. I did briefly take a look at the other one, the one Flynn's is currently wearing. We can't really show him off yet. This one sounds pretty hype. We got the 80 EM 2-piece and then a 30 crit rate plus 10% lunar reaction damage. So I guess just for all lunar reaction types. But focusing back on Lauma and her set, we got Energy Recharge, the 2-piece. Here we already have a new mechanic we kind of have to explain. So Elemental Mastery is increased by 60 or 120 when the party's moon sign is Nascent Gleam or Ascendant Gleam. Thankfully, this is pretty simple. It's essentially a new resonance here. You know how we have bonuses for having 2 of the same element types? Well, now we have a new tab specifically for Nod-Krai characters. So with Lauma by herself, we already have Nascent Gleam, so we could get the 60. And the only one we can really put in right now is Inefa. She is from Nod-Krai as well. So with these 2, we are now maxing the resonance here as well as the artifact set. So we'll get the 120 EM. I know some people aren't a fan of these types of mechanics where you're kind of locked into using specific characters for certain buffs. I'm just telling you how it works. Right now, obviously, it feels quite restrictive. These are literally the only 2 characters we're going to have when 6.0 drops. That is if you got Inefa. But we will get Ino for free, a 4-star Nod-Krai character, so she'll definitely be usable with Lauma at the very least. She is Hydro. You can pause and read if you want, but essentially when a non-moon sign / Natlan character does Seal or Burst, they provide a party-wide buff that increases lunar reaction damage up to 36%. And like I said, that's also important for both new artifact sets. As long as we keep Inefa in our team, we will, provide that 120 EM to the party. And then with the second part, we get an additional 10% lunar reaction damage for each different gleaming moon effect. I assume right now we just have the 2, Nascent Gleam and Ascendant Gleam, so 20%. She has currently built EM Energy, which I believe are the only 2 stats that actually matter for her. When I would build her on my own account, I probably would just go triple EM and just focus heavily on energy recharge substats. But all right, let's go ahead and build a Lauma team. Just to keep things simple, we're probably going to start with a pure Bloom team, like Nilou, Xingqiu, and Nihida, I think would be pretty decent. We do lose the second bonus, but until we can use Ino, that's just going to be how it is. At that point, we might be able to replace Xingqiu. It kind of depends. I don't know her kit yet. I mean, sure, let's just start out here in the open world and start doing some stuff. You'll see as we get some blooms, we get those moons down there. So that is a new mechanic as well. That kind of has to do with Lauma's kit. That seems to be the main difference from normal Bloom. We are now getting these resources. Also because of Lauma and her passive, it is just inherently stronger, very similar to Inefa and Lunar charged. Up to 14% base damage increase for Lunar Bloom. Let's try a full rotation. We do have this guy here. He looks pretty tough. Let's see if he will survive. I'm pretty sure all characters here are C0, so maybe we won't like just completely obliterate too fast. So we're gonna hold E now and use the moons. There we go. Okay, he's dead. Probably would have done burst at that point. I guess we should raise her skills as well, and it might be a good time to talk about like her kit. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but just like understanding the basic mechanics would be good. At least here at C0, she has two main roles. First, reducing res, Dendro and Hydro, and second, increasing Dendro reaction damage. When it comes to the res decrease, this is very straightforward. Whether you tap or hold Lauma's elemental skill, we will have this like big aura around us that follows the character and deals damage within this big area every 2 seconds. And the res decrease lasts 10 seconds. So even when like new enemies spawn after you kill one wave, her skill is still going, hitting enemies, even when she's off field. So her res decrease is definitely one of the most consistent ones, even though it is a bit on the low side at 22.5. The Pale Hymn stack system is a little more complicated. You can see here we obtain 18 of these stacks when we do burst. Those stacks are then consumed anytime one of those bloom reactions deals damage. Besides the 18 from burst, we can get more pale stacks, but this is where it gets a little weird. So with those 3 moons below Lauma, when we hold her elemental skill, those will be consumed, which will turn into Moonsong. And then when we do her burst, those Moonsongs will each turn into 6 stacks of Pale Hymn. And all these blooms will have their damage increased while consuming one of those stacks. We also have a dude here helping us out. We don't have any healers in this team, which is kind of bad. Our Lauma died. We do keep our moons down here, so that feels right now more of just like a purely Lauma thing, but I assume more characters will use it in the future. What happens when we press T? For now, I'm going to replace Xingqiu with Kokomi because I kind of want some healing. I think she'd be a fine partner anyway. Let's check out the new boss here. Sure, why not? We could do a burst now. I think we still have the moon songs. So good. And then we'll hold it again before going back to Nihida. So all of our blooms should be buffed right now. That, you know, that is a lot of stacks. Let's go ahead and do Kokomi burst. And yeah, boss went down. That was pretty easy. My real Nihida is C6. I've just decided to keep this one at C2 though, and I think I got C1 for the others as well. Lauma's still C0, but we'll probably check out her constellations. Maybe give a, you know, first impression thought on that. For now, let's check out this other boss. We will actually need to fight him. Oh, he's kind of small. Kind of cute. But for now, oh, we just tapped her E. I'm gonna have to get used to that. So we'll probably just stay on field with her for a bit until her E is back off cooldown, and then we'll hold that for the stacks. We do need some healing pretty bad. We also have a pretty mediocre ping right now, so, you know, that's my excuse for playing poorly and all. Lauma has 1 HP. Oh, also with one of Lauma's passives, she increases Lunar Bloom damage, crit rate, and crit damage, but only if you have 2 Natlan characters. As well as this passive here, which allows blooms to crit, much like Nihida's C2. The crit rate is lower at 15%. I am super curious if these can stack, if we'll actually have 35 crit rate and 200 crit damage now. Why don't you just read the next sentence, Mocha? Crit rate from this effect stacks with crit rate from similar effects that allow these reactions to crit. So we now have a 35% chance for blooms to crit, which is pretty cool. Sadly, it did just say crit rate and not crit damage, so they're still only gonna have 100 crit damage, but I mean, still pretty nice. I am glad they can stack at least. Okay, hold up. I was just reading through her constellations. There is something interesting at the bottom of her C6. All nearby party members' Lunar Bloom damage is elevated by 25%. What does that mean? Special damage boost effect. It is calculated independently of other damage boost effects. Okay, so is that not just the same as a base damage increase? Who knows where this goes in the calculation? I guess it doesn't matter that much to most people. We'll probably get her to C6 just to check that out briefly, but this is not like a proper comparison video. C1 already sounds really interesting. She basically becomes a healer. A good one? I don't know. There's lots of numbers. I just kind of want to check out her healing because currently she doesn't heal anything at all. See what's going on. Currently our Nihida and Nilou are looking a little worse for wear. Let's just go on good old Dorito Boss. It's been a while since we fought him. I'm not going to use Kokomi's E on purpose here, just so we can focus more on her healing. We'll just do her burst as well, sure. And then go back to Nihida, for example. Let's see the healing. Oh, wow. Damn, that was a big heal. How about Nilou? She has 58,000 HP. Those are big heals. What the hell? That might be enough healing without requiring a healer because it also seems very consistent. It's basically triggered when she does her E and then she gets a buff for 20 seconds. And whenever those bloom reactions happen, the healing can trigger as long as it's been that 1.9 seconds or whatever. All right, here we go. So there's the E. I just tapped it again. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but let's go to Nilou. She is hurting pretty bad. 7,800. Yeah, 7,800 heals there every 1.9 seconds. Dude is dead. I guess the fact she can't heal out of combat is a little annoying, but Also, it's really good healing for her not being a healer. It's just attached to C1 here. C2 seems to be a pretty massive buff for Pale Him, those stacks that increase the damage. So, I mean, sure. Try and look at some of those numbers. We got like a 50k, a 70k, a 97k Bloom. He just dies too fast. Thankfully, we did recently discover a new test dummy. This guy has a lot of HP. He's not super annoying, so let's go. But we will like try and trigger them with Lauma because she probably has the most EM in the team right now. I am actually seeing that same like 97 hit there when it criticals. Sure, we'll just pay attention to that, I suppose. Yeah, 97 is the highest I can see here. So we'll see what happens when we get her to C2. Also with C2, if we were in Ascendant Gleam, which we're not since we only have Lauma as our Nod-Krai character here, Lunar Bloom damage would be further increased by 40%. So we're just going to kind of ignore that for now. All right, so we're going to hold her E and burst, and let's see what's going on there. We'll just stay on field with her. Oh, yeah, there was a 120. Can we get higher than that? I don't think so, actually. I've not seen any yet that are higher, but oh, we killed him. Whoops. Well, goes to show it's a pretty strong team, and look at that. We are all completely healthy as well. She's our only healer here. That's very impressive. Oh, well, I did just see a 160k Lunar Bloom attack. That was probably from holding her skill. So she can do like a lot of direct Lunar Bloom damage herself, which is something we haven't really paid attention to yet. 220 there, Lunar Bloom attack. Not bad. Yeah, I couldn't see any higher than that 119, so I think that is the C2 buff. Still a pretty good buff just for the Bloom damage, but also it was increasing her Lunar Bloom damage as well. And when we could use Ino, for example, and get Moon Sign Ascendant Gleam, then we could also get the 40%. So yeah, C2 seems like actually pretty huge for damage. C3 is just talents. We're gonna grab it. C4 as usual is just kind of an energy constellation, especially because she really only needs EM and energy recharge. I can't imagine this is gonna be that helpful. Like, we definitely don't have any energy issues currently. C6, as you can tell, is quite long, but it basically boils down to a lot more damage that she will do, as well as, you know, more Pale Him stacks. So I'm not going to break that down piece by piece, obviously. The elevated thing, we're honestly just ignoring for now, but it does sound interesting, so we'll look at that separately. We can throw Inefa in the team. I guess also with C6, she definitely becomes more of an on-field, even though I feel like she was already like the best driver, so she'd be on-field anyway, but she's going to be even more so now. That's the one annoying thing with this boss, and of course, I was too busy yapping. Hold the E, do burst, and then we're just gonna start basicing and kind of see if we can spot. Oh my god, okay, wait. Yeah, there is definitely some stuff happening there. Look at the boss's health bar. Like, this guy has, I think, almost 10 million HP, so it doesn't look like it's going down that fast, but Jesus Christ, he is a damage sponge. Part 2, oh my god, he's already almost dead. Dude, yeah, that is insane. I mean, granted, she is C6. Is Xingqiu actually C6? Oh no, Xingqiu is C0, which makes that the whole thing just more impressive. But okay, sure. What we're gonna do now is just replace Nilou with Inefa, but we do have Ascendant Gleam now. You know, Lauma's buffs will take effect. I've never used Inefa as like the Hyperbloom trigger, so I don't really know what to expect here, to be honest, but we're just going to do the stuff, just do the rotation, and we'll see if we can spot anything in particular. We do, of course, have like Lunar Charge there now as well. Just gonna keep spamming. We didn't do Xingqiu's burst, we didn't have it, which was kind of bad. And here we go. I mean, just like taking a look at the boss's health bar, it's still going down super fast. But to be totally honest, it doesn't feel that different from the Bloom team, even though we are activating all those buffs now. We still didn't give Xingqiu any constellations, I figure at this point. May as well just keep him at C0. He's really only there for the Hydra application, I suppose. I mean, no, that was really fast. My best C2 Chaska team with like C6 Mawika could do this guy in like 50 seconds. So just as a reference, I suppose, I'll have the time that battle took. But yeah, her C6 does seem pretty crazy. But okay, that'll do it for the early look of Lauma and Nod-Krai. I'll save the more thorough stuff when I actually raise her on my own account. And, you know, she's mine and all. So until then, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.